Got the NBA playoffs coming up.
We do. Let me tell you, I got my top 3 in the West.
Okay.
And I got my top 3 in the East. So in the West, I'm going to go Phoenix because when
KD
come back, pending he come back.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go, believe it or not, Sacramento Kings.
No.
De'Aaron Fox.
No.
I'm biased. And then my third would be obviously, what's the number 1 team now? They go
Nuggets?
back and forth. I like the Nuggets a lot. I like Jokic. But I'm missing. It's
not the Bucks. They're in the East.
Yeah, the Bucks in the East. But it may be the Nuggets. Golden State. I don't see it happening.
That's my team.
Yeah, but I mean they
turn it on in playoffs. Steph's gonna Steph.
East is easier for me.
Yeah,
you got the Bucks.
Yep, Bucks.
You got what's the team? The Celtics.
Celtics.
And then what's the third one? No.
Heat aren't playing. Philly.
That's the wild card.
Yep.
Yeah,
Embiid.
That's the wild.
Trust the process.
And he's doing great. And James Harden is actually
playing like he actually knows what he's doing.
He's actually playing and earning that contract.
Yep, I agree. I'm
still bitter about him leaving Houston, though.
Me
I gotta
too.
be honest.
He needs to come back eventually.
Yeah, well.
Maybe. Well, hey, welcome back, y'all, to the Core Compass podcast.
Yes.
I'm Walker.
I'm Jeremy, and we are super excited to be sharing another episode with you folks. In this podcast, we're going to cover everything core group resources and talking about connecting people to destiny.
Yep. Our guest today is the one and only Maria Lossada. She is the crewing account manager and manager of the crewing side.
We are excited.
Yeah, we are so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I'm excited to be here.
I know.
Finally.
Yeah.
This is so much fun.
You look amazing.
Thank you.
You're glowing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I tried my best.
Yeah.
Is this like the 3rd episode or something?
This is the 7th?
No,
eighth episode. This is 8th.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Well, I haven't been doing my job. Can
That's
you
okay.
edit that part?
No, it's fine.
That's
fine.
all right.
It's all
I
good.
mean, we know your hands are full on what you got. So we don't expect you to keep up with the episode.
I'm very surprised that your phone is not ringing right now.
Well, I heard the first one and it was amazing, but I loved last one with Bob.
Yeah, Bob's was
Bob's
good.
was great. I mean, it's Bob.
Yeah.
It's Bob,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
he raised the bar very high for me.
Yeah,
so.
we learned a lot about Bob. So I guess I'll start out, Maria. I want to start with your family.
Okay.
And you. First question would be, tell us a little bit about you, and then I'll talk about your family because you got some family ties that we know. But tell us about you and what do you want to start with?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I am a mother of 2.
Okay.
I have a 7-year-old Miranda and a 10-month-old Lorenzo.
10 months.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, those 2 are a handful.
Yeah. Boys, girls?
Well, one girl,
One
the
girl.
oldest one, yeah, and my baby is a boy.
So you got the girl and the boy.
I have the girl and the boy. I
Yeah.
have everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, being a mom. But,
Right.
I'm originally from Venezuela.
Okay.
I've been in the U.S. for almost 4 years now.
Wow.
And I always knew that I wanted to come to the U.S. and just explore my options, work, and just give my best. I didn't know it was going to happen when it happened, which was almost 4 years ago, but it was perfect timing. I'm so grateful to be here. I would say I'm just a simple small town girl from Venezuela.
Yeah.
I love being a mom. I love being exploring my professional side as well. And so thankful with God that I landed here in Houston and at Core Group,
Yes. We're
It's awesome place.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
That's awesome.
So your mother, tell us about both of your children. What are their personalities so far? Tell us a little bit about them.
Well, my 7-year-old is super funny. She's very sensitive. She's smart. Hopefully she
Like
got
her
that
mom?
from-
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what she got that
She
from her
got
mom.
that from me.
Yeah.
But so I don't know what's going on with these kids nowadays. Like, she's 7, but she thinks she's 14 or 15. And I'm like, man, I'm
Slow it
not
down.
ready for this.
Yeah.
Slow it down.
7 going on 17.
It's too soon.
Yeah.
She's way ahead of her time,
Yeah.
But I mean, I love her. She is so much fun. She loves being a big sister.
Oh, that's awesome.
She is a mini mom. I can tell.
That's
you.
awesome.
Bossy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
that's awesome.
Oh yeah, she's definitely.
Yeah,
she is
yeah.
definitely. Well, she came here last Friday and
Yep.
she told everyone.
I missed her.
I was here. I saw
Yeah,
her.
you didn't see her.
Oh, yeah.
But she told everyone, I'm in charge.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
where do you get that
Yeah.
from? I don't say that.
Someone gave her a Nerf gun, and she just walked around with it, and just
Yeah.
she was in
Really?
charge. Whatever
Really?
she said goes. So
Oh my, I didn't know she was doing that.
She commands the room. Wow.
she's gonna see this and be like, "Oh no, I was trying to hide
my
that." That's
God.
okay.
Well, Small Birdie told me
Yeah.
that she may get it from you because I heard you carried a big stick on your little ones in Armando.
Oh.
But we'll
Yes.
get into that later. But
Just a
yeah,
little bit.
that's what I heard. So how's your son? Like, how's he coming out so far? I
Well,
mean, I know he's only 10 months,
Oh,
but
my son.
do you see a little bit of personality so
Oh
far?
yeah, definitely. He is gonna be like the sweetest guy. He's gonna be super fun.
Yeah.
He just wakes. So my daughter, she loves sleeping late. You know, she's just, a night owl. But my son, he's just 5 a.m. boom, and he's got all this energy
He's
at
up and at
5 in
'em.
the morning. Like smiling.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, it's too early for this. But he's like, owning the morning.
Right.
Very active, like a regular 10-month-old, but like just super funny. He started walking when he was 8 months old.
Oh wow.
So that's gonna tell you a lot about
Yeah.
his-
Wow.
Yeah. And
just
he
went for
just
it.
frowning when he doesn't like something, just complaining like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, this kid,
Yeah.
I need to keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, my background is coaching, so I'll be recruiting him soon. If in
Okay.
8 months walking, we need to get him somebody
Yeah.
team. Baseball,
Something.
basketball.
Oh,
Something.
definitely.
Yeah, we need
to get these
something.
two kids paying the bills.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's good.
absolutely.
That's the dream.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know you said you came here from Venezuela. What led you to Core Group? How did you get here?
Yeah.
That's an amazing story. I'll try to keep it short.
No, it's fine. Let
No,
it go.
you're on the
Let
podcast.
it go.
This is the
Let
platform
it
to
go.
tell us.
So a few months after I moved here to Houston, I met this angel. I like to call him Angel. His name is Mr. Dale Olson.
Mm-hmm.
He is the former director of the Family Hope Foundation, which helps thousands of Venezuelans and non-Venezuelan, but mostly Venezuelan immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
And, they provide them with food, money if needed, but mostly food, like clothing. And they have all these programs for, having them or helping them to adapt to the culture.
Wow.
And transition from, Venezuela and the U.S., properly, not only them, but their family, like the whole family group. And just wonderful foundation, but there was something missing when I met them, and it was like an instant click when I started talking to Mr. Dale. He said, "Oh, you're Venezuelan, but you speak English very well. I need to talk to you a lot more. I need you to actually help us."
Yeah.
And so I started working with, not working because I wasn't able to work at the moment, but I was helping them, supporting them,
Yeah.
translating for Venezuelans and back and forth. And they started creating these I would say trainings like for like financial and like family support and help for the Venezuelan communities, like how to, pretty much like who to call or where to go, and
Like
or,
resources, a
like
lot of
resources
yeah.
and like how to prepare your finances, like, in this country. And I was a translator for those trainings. I'm still helping them with that 4 years later. One day he said, you know what? I have a friend that needs a nanny. He needs a babysitter. He has 4 kids. And, he needs help. And so in Venezuela, when I was doing, when I was in college and when I started my master's degree, I took a part-time job as a teacher, ESL teacher for English for kids who didn't have a clue about like what to say hello or go to the restroom and things like that. And so it was all in English, and I worked for them like for 4 to 5 years. And I said, I love this. This is something I could start working with. Or working on. And I said yes. And I met this person who, he referred me to, which was Matt Furman.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Matt Furman.
He's the guy.
The Matt Furman.
Yeah.
And, him being a recruiter, I didn't know anything about it. He called me and he's like, okay, yeah, I have 4 kids. Like, what's your background with kids? Like would you be able to teach them Spanish or like more like English? Like, what do you do? Right. And so we, one thing led to another in the conversation, and he ended up saying, well, you know what, I'm a recruiter. So what's your background on anyways? And I'm like, well, I used to be a trade marketing manager for a tobacco company. Like, I come from the tobacco industry, in Venezuela. It's a worldwide known company, and it gave me like 8 years of experience, and pretty much everything I've done, for growth, professional growth with this company. And he said, well, I'd like you to come in to my to the office one day. Let's set up an interview.
Come
and I
hang
said, okay. And I thought, when I came into the office, just a few days later, I still thought that I was interviewing for the nanny job.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so I dressed up the best I could, and I started talking about kids and my experience with kids, and he's like, okay, but what else would you like to do? And we started talking about my experience, and he's like, man, you're a great find.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget those words, because I started believing it right then and there. Like, he led me to believing in myself again.
Absolutely.
Which is something that you have to leave on a side. Well, not the believing on yourself portion, but all the things that you can do when you move from a small country to the US. You have to pretty much be open to do, not to do what you were used to doing. And I'll never forget those words. And he said, well, the only thing I have for you right now is, a front desk job, which I took, and it was the best thing. I have no clue how to run a desk. I remember the first phone call, and I was like, what do I do? And so I Googled everything. And he is still such an amazing guy. He helped me. And shortly after, he moved me up to a marketing coordinator position. And then I kind of overheard a conversation in some interviews for a crewing recruiter. And I said, man, everyone's rejecting this job. I don't know what's, what's the deal about it? And, you have to work weekend. And then so my current boss, Eric, was performing those interviews. And he was like very tough. Like, you have to, I'm going to be calling you on weekends. I'm going to be calling you evenings. If you go with your partner to a restaurant, you have to turn around and just go back home. Because if I'm calling you, you need and
that was the job description. You better be available when I call
every
you.
time.
That's the only job description.
Yes. And I said, you know what? I think I can do this. Like, for some reason, I like things that scare me a lot. And sometimes it's not a good thing. But I mean, I just said, hey, look. Well, actually, I came in to refer a friend, which is Daniel Arenas.
The one and only. The one and only.
The beast in recruiting.
Oh, he's awesome. And he said, well, actually, I was explaining, like, I have this friend, he's been recruiting for a while. And he said, well, actually, we need, for this crewing position, we need someone like you. And I was like, this friend, you have to meet him. And then I went home and I'm like, you're an idiot, Maria. Oh my God. And then I said, next day, I told him, Eric, I think I can do it. And he was like, I think you should. I mean, you could do it. So he spoke with Matt and they both agreed, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. So nanny to front desk.
Marketing coordinator. That's it. I think
to contracting.
I mean, when I started, it was all, you taught me so much, and we just heard like you were the highest biller ever in that short amount of time, which is just amazing in all your hard work. So that's just so great.
You.
Do you remember? Because everybody we've talked to, they always do remember. Do you remember your first placement?
I think I was so scared that I don't remember my first placement. It wasn't until we moved to this building that I got to see the guy's name.
Yep.
And I forgot it because when I started, and this is something I do remember, when I started, I had no clue. If I had no clue on how to pick up phones and, all the telephone to formality, I didn't have an idea on how to recruit, but I knew I was going to make it happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Find a way.
And
Yeah.
I was sitting in front of Eric. I keep telling this to everyone because they say, "Oh, Eric, you know, we're scared of Eric." And I'm like, I was sitting in front of that guy every single day, and it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. And what I can tell you about that is that it happened so fast. You know, from one day to the other, you know, we had more clients and we had all these requests, and I was recruiting for all the disciplines in the crewing department, and it was pretty much learn as you go. But of course, Eric was doing his job on teaching me how to do things, and and Matt was making sure that I was, you know, involved in the trainings, and you know, they were doing their job in educating me. And I mean, it was awesome, very stressful, I have to say, but I found my passion for recruiting, and I still do that to this day. I still recruit. I still talk to people on the phone. It is something that just keeps me alive.
Ever leave. It won't ever go.
It won't ever go away.
Maria just got through in the fire.
Yeah. That's the best way to learn. It's the best way to learn.
Baptized by fire. Yeah.
That's true.
I want to go back to your nanny. Did you ever end up going to watch Matt's kids, or you just
Never.
So you didn't even. So I was going to ask about some stories of the kids and see which one, but we don't get that.
They found someone else for that one.
Yeah. And I guess we got to let our go. It's a tradition on every podcast to know your first direct hire recruit. But she had her hands full. Contracting,
I mean,
in and out.
I know it was probably like, hey, you know, can you do it? Yes. Okay, let's go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It was a lot. And then it was a bunch of placements right after that. Because it's like, Maria,
boom, boom.
We have 10 jobs. Yeah. You have to work.
Get them.
Oh my God.
And I know you did it with a smile on your face. So you were just like, yes. Yeah. So that's just amazing.
Absolutely. So, Maria, we got a question we always ask on this podcast. You know our core values, right? We've just revised them as well. Which one stands out to you the most, if you had to pick one?
Yeah. Thank God I am in a place where everything, like all the core values are just speak for me. And I feel, you know, like, I don't know. It's every one of them are so important because they create like the perfect environment, which is, you know, you guys know.
Of course.
Right.
We love working here. Right. If I were to pick only one, I would say God-centered. And the reason is because if God is the center of your life.
Come on now.
Everything just, all the other core values just fall into place.
That's right.
You automatically become a positive person. That's right. You know, just honesty and integrity. That's who you are. So I would say God is the center of everything in my life. I am so thankful and happy that God is the center of this company, but that we are also able to, you know, in a godly way, perform and just grow and just to drive that passion with God's blessing. Amen. It's just everything for me.
Awesome.
Oh, it's awesome.
That's one of my favorites too.
It's amazing.
Right. That's right. I got another question too. And this is a fun question. So if you had to be a movie character, who would it be? And why? And why?
Man. Oh my God. I would be Lisa Simpson.
Really?
For sure. I mean, she is a badass.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's
good.
She is a badass.
Hey, this is raw podcast.
Yeah, she is strong-headed, just, you know, like straightforward, like, you know, this is what I got. You like it, you don't like it. Yeah. But she's also very sensitive. Like she falls in love in many episodes. Like she has her little heart in there. And she's a family girl, and she has an annoying brother, which I have 2 of them. Oh man, no, I'm just kidding. I love them. I love my brothers. So yeah, I would definitely, and she's fun. She's you know, smart.
Wow, Lisa!
That's awesome.
I'm gonna show her one day. I'm gonna draw Bart. I think the team knows I can draw Bart.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. But that's one of my favorite shows growing up.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna give me one of those shirts.
I know. We should have worn that.
But I could see Maria being a Lisa.
Lisa Simpson.
She was kind of like
being Bart.
There you go. You know, Lisa had that kind of adult mind in a child body. And run everything. But she also knows to be a child too. So that's awesome.
A
fun show. That's
I like
good.
that.
I was thinking Superwoman.
That was the other one that I was thinking. Yeah, or Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman
was the other one that I was thinking.
I said
of.
Superman.
Yeah,
that too.
Okay.
That's I think every woman here in this industry and being a mom and working is a super mom and a superwoman.
yes.
A super
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. So what do you enjoy to do, outside of work? What are some things that you like to do that when you're not here in the office?
And not being a mom.
Yes.
Wow.
Like for yourself.
That's like being a mom
I know.
and
That's like
working
the
in the
same.
office,
Yeah.
like 99.9% of my time. But I would say, I'm a Caribbean girl born and raised, and I do love me some beach time.
Okay.
And I just can't wait for the summer to be here.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, just like the sun, the feeling, the vibes, the smell, the coconut perfume,
Yes.
all that.
All of it.
It's like a breath of
Yeah,
fresh air when you're out there in
the
the
pina
water.
colada.
Yes.
So
I'll have 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, are you going on the company trip?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can't wait.
That's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, it'll be my first time going to Destin, and I just
it's beautiful. I go there every summer, and you guys are going to
Really?
love it.
Keep
it's gonna
rubbing
be so
it
much
in. I'm
fun.
not going. So
I'm not going either.
Just go
I'm not
ahead.
going
Just
either.
keep rubbing
I'm
it
not
in.
going either.
Matter of
No.
fact, I need to go in the back doorway.
Yeah,
You
I'm
need
just
to
gonna
use your
show up.
connections.
I'm just
Next
gonna
year
show
I'll
up.
go. Next year
Yeah.
I'll be there.
We'll send you pictures though.
Oh yes,
Yeah, I don't want
That'll be
keep
through an
your
email.
pictures. Keep your
That'll be through
pictures.
email. That's how it usually
Yeah,
happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll bring them up on the screen.
But don't do any live. Don't do
Yeah.
any pictures.
No, nothing
Y'all have
crazy.
fun. Yeah. Yeah.
So now we like to get to a point now where we're going to shout something out. And usually we shout out companies.
Oh, yes.
But this is a really cool thing. A company that I work with, and that actually everybody in direct hire, and even I believe some like Nye Justice is working on some of it.
Yeah.
The company called Bird on America, they're having an open interview date. And anybody watching this, any candidates or anything like that, you guys are more than welcome to show up, call a core group representative, core group recruiter, speak to them. We'll get you guys set up. We're looking for welders, electricians, assembly
Supervisors.
Marine service tech supervisors. We're looking for a bunch of these type of guys in Bellingham, Washington. So,
And this is a fast track to get there right in front of their face and be able to sell yourself and present yourself.
yeah,
So make sure you get that.
straight interview. Just show up, interview, leave with an offer. It's a great event. It'll be on April 21st, 2023, which I believe is this week.
Yeah.
It's this week. So you guys go out there and if
Great company, great event.
company, great event. It'll be great.
Yep.
So back to Maria, because you are a spotlight.
Yeah.
Talk to us, because I know we're talking about your transitions into each one of your jobs. You're in a new job now. Talk to us a little bit about what the transition was like going into now a manager role, and what you're doing now.
Yeah. It kind of happened naturally. I started in core group, and we were like 12 people, and we're 85, 88 something.
Some crazy number.
Yeah, some crazy number today. And so, we needed, actually the team needed some kind of guidance, and I needed that too. And so Eric and I, just started like, what do we need? And so I think I took the lead. I naturally like to drive people, and I like to, when I'm goal driven, and I like to move people in that same direction. I never like imposed anything. That's why I say it like came up naturally. And I did have a managerial background in my previous job in Venezuela. I had been a manager for a few years, and large groups, small groups, everything. And but it was my first time here, and I started with just 1-2 people, and just kind of exploring,
Right.
And of course you always kind of, it happened for me. I looked back, and as a manager, but now in a different country, in a different place, in a different company, I tried to, and I still to this day, I tried to think of the things that I could have done better in the past, and learn from my mistakes, and just try to do the best I can. I try to bring lots of empathy to the table, because we're all human beings.
Absolutely.
Crewing, everyone who works in crewing knows that this is a very demanding job, time wise, schedule wise. You have to be available for your clients.
Right.
You never know when the need's going to come, and it just requires a lot from you, a lot of you. And so, mostly our families are those who sacrifice their time
You're
with
always
us.
on the phone.
And, they're
Absolutely.
patient, like we're always on the phone or in the computer, or, we're in a restaurant and you have to pull up your computer and start working, or just your phone and sending emails.
Yeah, you won't last if you don't have an understanding spouse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so for me as a manager, I like to think myself of a collaborator, but also like the person who provides guidance, that kind of guidance that I received, but, even better. Right. Yeah. And so I try to put myself in everyone else's shoes first.
Yeah.
And, there's a saying that I like to repeat myself all the time. Like, everyone's going to forget how you say things, but they're never going to forget how you make them feel
That's
with what
right.
you say.
That's right. That's
And
right.
so
I agree.
that's
Yeah.
kind of, my motto.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's good. That's good. I mean, so what does that actually entails, and what is the title of your role?
So I am the crewing account manager.
Okay.
So I oversee a department that in numbers, it might seem kind of small. We're about 8 to 10 people.
Okay.
Depends if you count like logistics and onboarding, which I'm not in this portion because I don't oversee them, but we all work together, and that's the way I like to see it.
Yeah.
But I'm the link or the liaison between the clients or clients that need crewing services and our employees.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
And so the recruiters, they find their people, that's their job, like do the pre-screens, the calls, find the best skilled personnel out there,
Right.
and also help them obtain, credentials, certificates, anything that we need for them to complete to better their careers. And now that they have these pool of people, they're always like just keep updating and renewing these pools. And our clients have, of course, they have needs. They we have a sometimes not even a 25-hour frame to fill those positions that open up.
And these are
for
urgent
them.
positions.
These are urgent positions. And so I am the connection.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to drive and pass along the information with the same timely manner and urgency that our client is expressing. But I also have to be the communication between the recruiter and the employee and the company, and also work alongside with onboarding and logistics to make it all happen.
That's a lot.
So I would say the key thing or the key skill that you have, one of the many that you have to have in this position is communication.
Absolutely.
It has to flow naturally.
Absolutely.
Everyone needs to be aware of everything. And the next thing would be just follow up and,
Be resilient.
Be resilient.
So having that plan, pushing that plan, executing the plan,
Exactly.
making sure all that is getting done.
Yep.
Yes,
That's a
sir.
lot.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and y'all
Yeah.
do such a great job.
Yes,
your team is
absolutely.
amazing.
Thank you.
That is a big engine, that contracting side, and it's super.
It drives the whole company.
fast paced.
So it's
You gotta
amazing
have-
what you guys are doing.
You got to be
Thank
cut
you.
from a certain cloth. You
Yep.
seem like, you have to
Yep.
be.
Yes, you have to. You certainly have to be. You have to be used to working in a different way. It's just that a different skill. We all have different skills, but you have to be aware of like anything can change within 20 minutes. We have like the funniest stories of, this guy is just you walking, to crew change, and then he broke a leg literally,
Yeah.
and he, you're thinking he might be there. No, so that's why we don't take anything for granted. We oversee the whole process from the request until this person has made it to
Walks on the job.
And then even if we know, or he, like we've had people send us selfies, like I'm here next to the captain. But we also like to ask the client, hey, can you confirm that this person made it? Because,
You never know
you
nowadays.
never know.
Yeah.
Maria, we want to know a crazy story from crewing. You don't have to say the name. Give me like a strange, crazy story from the recruiting
Man,
side.
a crazy, strange story. Well, so
One
This
just
is
popped
gonna be good.
One just popped into her head. Yep, I know exactly.
I am not sure that I can actually talk. I don't know if I can talk about this.
It's okay.
Well,
You can be vague.
Yeah.
we have a mariner. He wasn't working with one of my clients, but we have a mariner that, they he left the vessel. So I guess they did it like a small crew change. So he left the vessel. He got off the vessel
Got it.
in a port in the UK. And
Wait, you can actually get off the vessel and just leave?
so either they probably give you a time frame,
Yeah,
or,
like,
you know,
like 4 or
just
5 hours.
exactly.
Yeah,
to
go hang out,
just go
come
hang
back.
out.
Yeah.
And so he got off the vessel, and the captain called us, and he's like, we can't find this guy. You know, it's been a while.
He went MIA.
And so they were calling hospitals.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
like, I don't know if cemeteries, but
calling
calling everywhere,
everybody.
emergency rooms, like
Yep.
just to try to find this guy. Like he had been missing for a day or so, and then we had Candace. She is our HSE specialist, onboard and logistics manager, or all-time specialist. Yeah. And so she was calling also hospitals, emergency rooms, like all facilities where you could find someone who was lost, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
And so no one could find this guy. You know,
Yikes. Yeah.
so many hours. And so finally the captain got back to us, and he said, we found him. So the guy apparently,
Oh,
you know,
my
he was
goodness.
having fun at a bar. You know, he might have more drinks
He
than
had
he
too
should.
much fun.
Yeah.
Too much fun. And so he was found like literally passed
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
And we were like, oh my God,
Oh,
the client's going to
goodness.
be so pissed.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things that you
guys deal with.
we deal with. We always try to, you know, we let our contractors know that everything they do, it's gonna, you know, affect their names and our
Absolutely.
names,
Yep.
you know, positively or negatively. You, like
Absolutely.
you pretty much choose, you know,
Right.
how you want it to go. So,
Right.
but there's so many
Oh, my
stories.
God.
Yeah. Luckily, that has been like probably the only one case that we've had that's been
Glad
you
he
know,
was safe, and they
Yeah.
found him safe.
No, he was
Yeah,
safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of fun stories.
Wow.
You know, people missing. Oh, so we had this is probably the one that you should put on the I mean, we've had so many people missing crew change. We had one mariner a couple weeks ago saying, "Hey, you know, I'm here at the hotel. The driver never came to pick me up, and you know what happened." And so someone else got into the car. Right? That we scheduled for him. It was a People's Haulers, and someone else got into the car and drove this person to crew change rather than our mariner. And he was like, they never came to pick. And he's like, oh, well, yeah, I do recall. Now that you mention it, I do recall seeing the cab in front of I just thought it was, you know, someone else's cab. And so we're like, man,
Oh my
Oh, my
God.
you know, rushing last minute to get this guy to crew change. I had to call the client, call the heliport and say, he's going to make it, I promise.
Yeah.
He's just going to be late.
Yeah.
You know.
Golly.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that story. And I'm sure there's pretty more. There's
I'm sure there's
wouldn't allow
hundreds.
us.
I'm sure
I
there's
could
hundreds.
write a book
Time
Yeah.
wouldn't allow
and
us.
retire.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I want to go back to your home country and tell us about it, how you grew up, and then how you ended up coming over here.
Yeah, absolutely. So Venezuela is a beautiful country. It has both a blessing and a curse, which is the way oil and gas industry has been handled for the past 20 years or so. However, you know, having that oil and gas influence has always kept us Venezuelans close to the American culture, right?
Yeah.
And so English was a number one thing in our schools. It still is to this day. So you would start English from a very, you know, early age. And so that would kind of get you closer to the American culture. And I remember my dad, he used to take me and my siblings and my mom every year. We used to come here to the U.S. every single year.
As a vacation?
As a vacation.
Okay.
And so would do road trips because my dad, he's scared of airplanes.
Okay.
And so, or of heights,
Yeah.
not airplanes. But, and so we would like do road trips and, you know, coast to coast, like all the U.S., multiple states. So I've been to Vegas 3 times, Florida countless times, you know, and so Houston as well.
Yeah.
And so it was every year coming to the U.S. and I kind of knew it was natural. I kind of knew like, you know, this is going to be part of my life sooner than later. And they, you know, my parents always have done the best for me and my siblings, and education wise, like core values wise, and they always ensured that we had that hunger for growth. In a good way. And so I kind of saw it as a, like an ambition in a good way as well. Like, man, for growth, and
they instilled that in you.
Yeah. And so in my country, it's suffering a lot, lots of things happening. And I knew I could, I was a single mom in Venezuela before moving here. And I had, it was me and my daughter. She was 3 years old at that moment. And I it got to a point where I said, well, what do I do with the experience I have or what I want to do? So I pretty much, grabbed my daughter and I came here with her, knowing that was going to be, she was going to be my main focus, just to provide for her. And, that took
a lot of courage to do that.
That's amazing.
Do you remember how old you were when you came?
So it was almost 4 years ago. So I was 28. Because I'm 32 now. Oh. Please edit this one. No one needs to know my age.
32 young.
Hey, you said it. We didn't.
32 years young. 32
wow.
Years young.
What city in Venezuela are you from?
So Maracaibo.
Okay.
Maracaibo is one of the hottest countries in the world. It's like summer all year long.
Like hotter than Houston? Or
it is like summer in Houston, like the hottest day in Houston, like 100, 110-ish.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Oh, my God.
Yes, of the year.
We'll get tan.
Yes.
We'll get tan.
It's closer to Colombia, so we have lots of Colombian influence. And I'm pretty sure Colombians have lots of Venezuelan influence as well, so it's pretty fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
so
awesome.
That transition to the States, you talked about it earlier. Did you find it with just kind of fear? How did you get over your fear and come into a whole nother, packing your daughter up, having to start completely over fresh? How was that experience, and what helped you get? I know, I want to shout out to Dean. What was his name? Dean?
Dale Olson.
Dale.
Dale.
I almost had it. I had the D right. But shout out to Dale. You actually, this is part of your fruit. She speaks well of you, and I want to shout out his organization as well.
Yeah.
But you said that he kind of helped with that. Tell us some other fears that you kind of overcame and some thoughts that you had to go through with that.
I would say, like I said, I had been in the U.S. like every year since I was a little girl. So I knew physically, I knew where I was coming to. I knew the airport. I knew, and I had a relative here. My aunt was here with her family, but she was kind of in her own thing, figuring out her own situation. Yeah. I would say my biggest fear at that time was my daughter. How would she take it? Like, because we were used to, we were living in Venezuela, we were living together and just in one house. And she still remembers that. Like, she says that she's happy here and she speaks highly of the U.S. and in Houston, but she just remembers like her
faces.
Everyone in the same house. Armando, he was in Mary at that point. So it was kind of like, getting her detached from that situation where everyone, she was like the little girl of the house. Yeah. And now, facing a new country, no friends, or, starting from. And so I would say that was my biggest concern. I would say that the way I faced it, and, also being a single mom, is I started her and at a very early age, I sent her to therapy. So she has her therapy, her therapist. And the way they do it, like her and her therapist, is it's just a conversation. It's very genuine. It's very natural. Yeah. And I received lots of coaching from her therapist. He's been an amazing help.
That's awesome.
And just kind of like try to, see how can I can make her situation better. And, she was that her, fortress at that point, like,
that
like
was home for her.
Yeah, it was home for her. And so right after we moved to the US, COVID hit.
Yep.
So we didn't see our relatives for a year. They were supposed to come here to visit us.
Yeah.
And not only we didn't see them for a year, is that when COVID hit, you didn't know what was going to happen.
No, it was just, we were all in a state of what.
Stopped.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so I was afraid of, not being able to see my family members again.
Right.
It was scary. Lots of people, just passing away from COVID around, or people that we knew, right? That we had spoken in the last few months, and so it was shocking.
It was.
Yeah. I was in a lockdown situation, pretty much self-imposed, with my daughter in an apartment without a job. I just came here with what I could grab from my savings, and that was all. I just hoping for the best, just praying. We did a lot of bonding.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
Throughout those months, and luckily after Dale Olson introduced me to Matt.
Wow.
And that's when it all started.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. I like to piggyback on what you said. I mean, when fear gripped the earth and gripped with the COVID thing. By the way, I don't know, has anybody got the rights to that movie? It's probably going to be a movie.
Oh, it's going to be a movie.
One day. That's going.
One day.
But I like what you said. You sent your daughter to therapy, and I'm sure that brought your anxiety down, her anxiety down. I think we need to do more of that, especially for kids and youth and people that don't know. They just got all this emotions.
Yeah.
So that was huge. And
it doesn't need to be viewed as like a bad thing.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely.
It's literally just it's something that's going to help.
Absolutely.
That's all it is.
Absolutely.
So
thanks for sharing.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And you spoke about Armando, and we wanted to ask about him. I started
Knucklehead Armando.
Yeah, I started on the same day as him. We started on the same day.
Yeah.
How has it been working with him here? And then what was it like him growing up?
What was he like when growing up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Poor thing suffered so much.
Yeah.
I was picking on him all the time. So I'm trying to kind of making it up.
Yeah.
But I think that's what most older siblings do.
Absolutely.
Not that I'm excusing myself, but no. So working with him is very interesting. I kind of see him in a different, get to see him in a different way, right?
Yeah.
Our family's very close. We've always been. Now they're all here in the U.S. in the same city. Like we're neighbors. Armando and I and my parents and my youngest brother. But I kind of get to see a different side of him, which I knew from the beginning. I mean, we grew up together, and so I know how committed he is, how responsible. He's always been like, out of the three of us, he's been the most mature of the three of us, and he sometimes is very quiet, and you're like, oh, is he? But he is so smart, and I knew that he could bring so much to the table. I guess I was more scared or afraid of how he would take it in the beginning. And I knew he was, changing cities because he was living in Florida, just changing states. And he came here with his wife. He left his job there to come here. And, kind of looking for a job for a little while. And I'm like, I know, he's my brother, but I would not recommend anyone whose work ethics wouldn't match the place where I work, because that's who I am, right? And so I knew who he was, and I knew he was going to do a great job, but I was scared. Like, I was afraid. I kind of like that big sister feeling that never goes away. I was like, I don't want him to feel bad or like to be scared, because I know what the first weeks or the first months of a recruitment side can take on you, right?
Especially on a direct hire side.
Especially the direct hire side.
It's a slow burn.
And
but and that had to be a lot, because you're thinking in the back of your mind, I brought him out of a state, him and his wife. This gotta work. And I'm glad it worked. It
has. I mean, he's running the entire technology department here on the direct hire side.
He's doing a phenomenal job.
He's doing an amazing job.
Shout out to Armando.
That's awesome.
How did you get him to choose recruiting? How did you pitch it to him, recruiting? How did you get him to buy into that?
So he was kind of doing cold call sales in the past, because he was doing sales for a technology company in Florida. But
he never recruited?
He had never recruited.
Okay, so this is new.
I kind of, but when I would say one of the hardest things on recruiting is, well, you have to have the intellect, and you have to, have the understanding of the client and how to deal with that and how to talk to people. But doing the cold call portion of it takes a lot.
It does.
And lots of people that have, that have a great gut feeling and that have lots of talent for recruitment just are still,
absolutely
dealing with the cold call portion, and he already had that. And so I'm like, he can do it. And so the way I talked to him, and I was pretty much an Eric for him. I told him, this is going to be tough. It's going to take a lot, but it's a very rewarding job in any aspects, in all the aspects.
Yeah.
So you have to be very patient, which I know he is.
Right.
Yeah.
You have no rush, but also, be consistent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, just do your best. Never be afraid to ask any questions.
Right.
Don't take things for granted. Don't think that you know everything.
Yeah.
You're always going to be in the learning process. And I think that's kind of how I pitched it. And I gave him all the bad references I could.
Yeah.
But also I did make sure that, hey, once you've passed this line, you've crossed this line,
Exactly.
it's going to be amazing and you're going to enjoy it.
And
you're
he's
going to
taking
love
off. That's good.
That's amazing.
That is.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Well, one last question for you. I know we're wrapping up here. You and I have something in common. We're getting married. Not us. Not us.
Congratulations.
But Maria's getting married this year, which is amazing. How is that going?
Yeah. Well, marriage for me is a big thing. Like I said, I had a previous relationship, and I kind of nowadays I know, thanks to therapy, I know that I've been postponing marriage in my life for many years, and the reason is. I kind of am scared or afraid to failure and like divorce or separations. Just like everybody else, but I think that I closed that door for me.
Yes. Good for you. Good.
And so I said, no more of this. And so I'm like, if you're scared, you still have to do it if it's what you want.
Yeah,
if
that's
it's
right.
what God's want for you. And so I would say also that I hadn't found the right person, and now I did. I found my better half, Gustavo.
He's awesome.
Oh, Gustavo.
Awesome.
Yes.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
He is awesome.
You got your future wife smiling.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
You're doing something right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's also he's just an imperfect person the way I am.
Yeah.
Right.
And we one thing we have agreed is that we're going to make it happen. We're going to make it work, regardless of our flaws, and we're committed.
We're in it for the long haul.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're in it for the long run. And I said, you know what? This is a person.
Yep.
I don't have. And so we have a beautiful family. We enjoy our kids so much. Our 10-month-old is transitioned into a stage where he's so playful, and so we said, okay, let's do it. Now he's at the right age, and we're getting married September this year.
Oh, you
That's
have
awesome.
a date. So
Yes.
that's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Is planning as much fun as you as it is for me?
Well, so one thing, I'm very stressful.
Yeah.
I get a lot of anxiety
Yeah.
because I'm a control freak. So one thing we also agreed is we said we're going to have a wedding planner.
Okay.
We are going to pretty much decide on everything and, set
Let
everything
them
in place,
take it.
but let them take over.
But not you planning for the wedding planner.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, man. Yeah. Kind of.
That's okay.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
excited.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's not going to change our relationship. Rather than we are going to have God's blessing, because
Amen.
it's so important for us to have God's presence
Yeah.
in our marriage and in our family. And so that's pretty much the whole idea. Just have God's blessing
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
for our family and for our union, pretty much.
That's
Absolutely.
amazing.
And sharing the same core values.
That's
you know.
amazing.
Yes.
As long as they align, you guys are going to do awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, we're at the portion of our Bible verse this week.
We always do a Bible verse. So,
Yeah.
Jeremy, what do we have this week?
So I, as soon as I unlock my phone, there it goes. Okay, so this is coming out of Ephesians 4, chapter 4, verse 30 through 32. And it says here, and it talks about forgiveness.
Perfect.
Do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, by whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from you, along with malice. Be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving each other, just as God forgave us. So,
That's amazing.
going back to what Maria said, just letting all fear, letting all anxiety, letting it all go.
Yep.
If someone has crossed you, if someone has said something, done something, vengeance is mine, said the Lord, and I will repay. And you have to let it go. And the sooner you can let it go, the better you will be.
Yep.
So please forgive one another.
Yeah, that's a great Bible verse. No, you're fine.
Step out of line
you're
later
fine.
on after this. So.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Well, Maria, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. This was fun.
I think was Maria in your interview when you interviewed her?
Maria was in my interview.
Yes.
You were in mine too.
Thank you.
You were pregnant with.
Yes, Lorenzo.
With Lorenzo,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
And so, you were so nice, and it was awesome just to have you in there, and you were the nicest one for sure. So everybody knows she was the nicest one.
Yes.
I had Eric and Mo and
It's
everybody.
probably because I was pregnant.
That's okay. That's okay. No, it was great. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
guys.
we like to give you your flowers, or continue
course.
to do. Be an example. You're such a light. You're such a glow. Your spirit resonates with everyone, and you're excellent.
You work so hard. Your work ethic is amazing.
You just work with the spirit of excellence that follows you.
Oh my God.
awesome.
Thank you guys. You guys are amazing.
absolutely.
Yeah, we try to. Well, we hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Core Compass Podcast. You can find plenty of great, exciting content from people like Maria on our website, the link in the description. Make sure you follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, at Core Group Resources. Maria, thank you so much.
You.
Guys, we'll see you next week.
All right. Deuce.